stick around, come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 6060 cycle. Who those hits around, bound to go to the plat. Welcome to another exciting episode of Wine Down with Kev. Let's start with an attitude of gratitude. Thank you, and thank you. Whether you're watching us live on social media, whatever platform you're watching on, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, thank you. Extra special thanks to all of you that are helping us grow week over week, episode over episode. Thank you for hitting the subscribe and the notification button. You are appreciated. And thank you to our sponsors, Carol Media, for all agents, all business people out there looking to tell your story online or social media. Look no further than Carol Media. They have helped me to be in the 2 Comma Club, where I've been viewed on social media more than 1 million times the last 2 years. Also, many agents contact me, Kevin, you're always talking think digitally, act digitally, and then you'll grow. Please reach out to Canopy Connect. They have the #1 digital strategy that customers love, that you'll love. Reach out to Canopy Connect. It makes collecting information and giving insurance proposals for our customers and our prospects much better. Last but definitely not least, thank my banking partner. Please thank Wintrust Financial. Without the money, none of this is possible. That being said, we really appreciate you being on this journey with us. 50 podcasts, 50 agents, 50 states, and we're down to our last few states. Well, today we get to journey to a beautiful state that I've never been before. It is a state, if I can give you a small hint, known for its lobster and many other things. Today we get to meet with a wonderful long-term agent, more than 25 years. You name the award, he's won it. You name the part of the community that he can give back to, he's there. Ladies and gentlemen, put your warm Wine Down with Kev hands together to welcome Steve and Janet Wilde. Hey, family, how are we doing in Maine today?
Oh, thanks. We're doing fantastic, man. We couldn't be better.
Beautiful, beautiful. Paint a picture for me today. What's the weather like in Maine today?
Oh, it's a little overcast, and we're behind the rest of the country in the spring. The leaves are just starting to come out. So,
my favorite time of year.
Yeah, well, everything's drying up, but the grass is great, and the animals are moving again. So that's fantastic.
I love it, Steve. Talk to me about the animals. Let's talk about the wildlife. What animals are moving? What are we talking about?
Oh, well, Janet and I are really blessed. We live in the outskirts of Bangor, Maine. So we have a subdivision that has a lot of wildlife that will come right up through the middle of it. There's a white deer that comes through there occasionally. I haven't seen it and been able to capture it myself, but my neighbor has.
Wow.
And Janet here saw it the other night when the dogs were a little upset. But but the deer are out there going through there pretty much on a daily basis right now.
Yep.
And bear, we actually see bear out there. This morning we saw a huge turtle on the way to work that was trying to cross the road.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I consider it a blessing. You know, I can work in here in the office in Bangor, Maine. And then I can drive home, which is only about 10 minutes away from here, and I'm right in the country.
Oh my God. Bangor is the big city. You go home to the country, you've got the wildlife. I've seen plenty of deer in my life. Never a white deer. Never, never, never. What kind of beer are we working with up there? Not the beer that we drink. What kind of wildlife beer do we have?
Got black bears.
Yeah.
Wow. Those get to be pretty big.
Yep, they do. We also have a lot of moose.
My goodness. So the obvious question is not that we have mean people that listen to the podcast, but they're wondering whether or not you hunt, and do you hunt within the lines and hunting season? Are you a hunter, Steve? Are you a hunter, Janet?
I've been an off again, on again hunter. I would do more fishing than I would hunting.
Okay.
Because I do like to go out and into the wilderness, and it's very relaxing when you can get away from the hustle and bustle of all the internets and the web leads and everything else that we have to stay on top of.
Nice
so
to disconnect.
like that.
I love it. So let's leave the land. Let's go into the water. The first thing we talked about offline before we jumped on the podcast, we talked about lobster. Everybody knows and loves Maine lobster, but I'm sure you're not fishing for lobster. What are you fishing for?
I like trout.
Nice.
And then a lot of folks, like my father-in-law or Janet's husband, or Janet's dad, salmon, big salmon fisher. So we'll go over to the Miramichi, which is in New Brunswick,
Canada.
Yep, and in Canada. And that's a pretty famous area for fishing with salmon and everything. So it's nice to have somebody over there that can take me when I do want to go fishing. He's a registered guide, so we get around that problem right there.
Well, I love it, and I just had a tremendous salmon lunch, so you're right up my alley. Fish stories before we talk insurance. Biggest catch, what's the biggest fish you've caught?
About 4-pound trout, maybe a little under 4 pound, which is a big trout.
Okay.
Salmon, I have only caught and released salmon. So,
okay.
Because I've been over there when they call, or what they have, black salmon. It's early in the spring, and they're not good eating, but it's fantastic to catch them and get them on a line. It's a big fight.
I love it. I love it. I've been in that fish fight before. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
Steve, if I was in town, if I was in Maine today, where would we be having lunch? Where would we get the best Maine lobster that we can find?
Ooh, what's the place down on the river?
Well, we have McLaughlin's.
Yep, there's a McLaughlin Seafood, and that's one of my favorite spots to take folks when they come in town. So those folks have some really fresh lobster. They're down home folks from the northern part of the state, which is country, mostly farming, and it's a really nice atmosphere. It's on a nice little river with a boat launch right there, and you can get up on a higher deck if you want to and eat outside.
Oh, that's
fresh lobster, because they also have a business just down the road that sells lobster, fish, mussels, clams, scallops, whatever you want, the seafood, and it's all fresh off the boat.
I love it. Not frozen, not imported from anywhere. Yep. Janet, what are we rounding this lunch out of? What do we need to go with that lobster and that seafood buffet that Steve just painted? What are the sides? What are the desserts we have to have? Kevin, you got to do this before you leave Maine.
I think the desserts from Maine is anything pretty much made with blueberries, because we have a big, harvest of blueberries usually every year. And I don't know if it's unique to Maine, but I think it is. I'm not from Maine, so I'm learning all of this too in my 25 years being here. Whoopie pies. Everybody tells if you come to Maine, you have to try a whoopie pie.
Yeah.
What is that, blueberry, or am I thinking of something else? People that listen to podcasts have wild imaginations. I lost half the audience with whoopie pie, but please bring us back.
Whoopie pies are kind of like a giant Oreo, except it's made with like chocolate cakey cookies.
I like it. You got me back. So, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, I'm going to have to send you a whoopie pie so you know what it is.
Yeah.
So, and they come in dozens of different flavors.
Yeah.
I love it. I will take the variety pack. I will go live on Facebook and let everybody see just how good it is. The only downside of that, it'll lead to you having more visitors in Maine than you might want.
Oh, please come. We like it.
Yeah.
Hey, DJ, what's up? I'm in the middle of recording the podcast.
I know, man.
No, yeah. So yeah, this guy, we want to talk about something different. He's trying to get his website and his Google My Business page going.
Yeah, I know.
Well, everybody knows you helped me to get to the 2 Comma Club, but and be seen by a couple of million people. But this person wants to do something different. They're trying to run ads to their book of business, their model line campaigns and stuff like that.
I know, Kev.
Oh, man. Well, DJ, talk to the people, man, so I can get back to the podcast. How can you help?
Yeah, man. So listen, I can help you by running monoline ads to your auto, your home, as well as optimizing your website, your Google business profile, and your social media outlets. We can do the exact same thing we've done for Kevin over the years and get you in front of millions of sets of eyeballs to help you grow your business. Contact Carroll Media today. Kev, let them know.
DJ, I appreciate you jumping in the podcast. Hit up Carroll Media. DJ, I got to go. I got to get back to the podcast.
I know.
I've had 2 chances to come to Maine. 2 of my 3 sons did prep school at St. Thomas More Prep School in Connecticut, and Maine is pretty well known for some of the prep basketball programs that they have up there. As a matter of fact, I might be wrong. I think the number 1 player in college basketball, Mr. Cooper Flagg, is originally from Maine. Talk to me, Steve. We know the family?
Well, no, we don't know the family, but they are from this area, and by this area, right in Bangor area, so outside in one of the smaller towns. So Cooper Flagg is quite popular up here. I don't think there's many Mainers that do not know his name. So and basketball, we don't have a lot to do in the wintertime unless you like snowmobiling, snowshoeing, skiing. So basketball tends to be a really popular sport up here. Interesting fact, my grandmother, when she was a young lady, was on one of the state championship teams for female basketball players, which back then was very rare.
Wow. Big shout out to Grandma. And if people don't know about Maine already, Cooper Flagg, 1 year in college, all of 18 years old. He will be the number 1 pick in the NBA draft in a couple of weeks. I had a chance to see him play once in high school, watched his college journey. He's absolutely phenomenal at his size, his skill set. He will be known, if not already in the future, he'll be known as the pride of Maine. He'll probably be on, I could very easily see him on some USA Olympic basketball teams in the near future for a long time to come.
Easily, yep.
Yeah, we tend to agree with you.
Well, let's pivot to a little insurance conversation. When you started talking about hunting, I was going to mention our mutual friend, Craig Wiggins. Obviously, he's a mutual friend of ours. We've been on trips together with Craig, whether that was Cancun or I think we hung out a little bit in Alabama last year. But let's talk about the business of insurance. Steve, what is it that you love about being an Allstate agent?
I love the flexibility, to be honest with you. It affords me the opportunity to spend time with my family, or at least that's really wishful thinking. I want to spend even more time with them, but it's a lot better that you're actually determining your path in life. So I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do if I was working directly as a corporate manager like I had in the past. I really enjoy the entrepreneurial spirit that we have and the flexibility that we have as agency owners. The things that go along with that, the ability to put someone's life back together.
Yes.
Man, that's so satisfying because insurance can be a rough gig. A lot of you guys know that. And girls, we get it every day, and it's not always pleasant. But when it does go right and you're really making someone's day and you're just putting everything back together, that's awesome. And that can't be beat.
I love it. So you gave me some great bullet points there. Let's break them down. You mentioned being a corporate manager before you were an Allstate agent. What's your backstory? What did you do before Allstate, and how did we get you here?
Well, I'll go back to earlier in my life. I ended up getting out of high school and not really ready for college yet. So I went to the military for about 5 years.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir. And I was fortunate enough to serve in the Berlin Brigade when the Berlin Wall was still up. So now you have an idea of my age.
Yes, younger than me.
Yeah, so I got out of the Army and I went to college, picked up a 4-year business degree, and I started working with the Walmart Corporation when they were still in rapid growth mode. So fresh out of college, I was an assistant store manager, and I moved. In 5 years, I was in 5 different states and 7 different stores. Wow. Earned a real nice nickname of the Tin Man because I used to go into the stores that were having trouble and we would clean them up. There was a crew of about 4 or 5 of us that would do that from all over the region. And yeah, that was different because you never knew. You know, sometimes you had to let an awful lot of people go and rebuild. But after Walmart, I shifted over to another corporation that was also growing, and that was Home Depot. And I spent a little over 10 years with Home Depot. My last role there was an operations manager.
Okay.
So I didn't want to move around too much by that time because I was getting into my 40s or so, somewhere in there. And Janet and I have 2 kids at home. And we decided that I was not going to relocate again. So we started looking for something different. So my family has a collectibles business.
Nice.
Coins, baseball cards, all that stuff. And they've had that business for, since 1983. So quite some time. So, and through that business, I knew that insurance agents or agency owners made a pretty decent, solid living. So I started looking at Allstate. I found this agency right here. There was a person that wanted to move back to his home state. So it was a real good situation for both of us.
Nice turnkey operations. Wow. Very, very rich backstories. Definitely got to ask about Walmart and Home Depots. But the last thing, the collectibles, what an advantage you have over the average local agent in that you speak collectibles, because that's one of the things we should ask people about, right? We shouldn't just assume that everyone has a basic 3-bedroom home with a living room and a dining room. Every person's home is very different. How would you say your knowledge of collectibles separates you from other local agents and definitely separates you from 1-800 numbers or .coms?
Well, that's getting back into, digging down deep and really understanding the entire household. If you're able to ask these questions about collectibles or anything else that needs to be listed on a policy, like a homeowner's policy.
Yes.
A lot of folks will have jewelry or something that is extremely expensive, just like collectibles.
Yes.
Instead of just the engagement ring that we buy for our wives, the collectibles can go on there too.
Yeah.
So that's really, really good information to have, and a lot of people don't really click into that. So it's basically a big circle of protection of everything that you need protected. But at least if they know about it, they can make a decision on whether to protect those assets or not.
Nope, absolutely. And just the fact that you ask, maybe you ask me what's important to me, and I tell you about true story. I did have 3,000 baseball cards from 1973 to 1975, kind of dated myself there. But unfortunately, they were not collectibles. My friends and I were into flipping the baseball cards. I didn't know that once I damaged the edge that I ruined the baseball cards. They had no future value. I didn't learn that until 20 years later. I was trying to buy my first house. I said, doggone it, Kevin, you don't have a lot of money. What have you accumulated in the first 30 years of your life that's worth a darn thing? And I found some pretty good rookie cards, but they were in pretty bad shape. Hey, Ray, it's Kevin. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. You guys have been helping me out for a while with all the digital things you can do at Used Canopy, but some of my guys, they're still having a hard time adjusting to the digital age. Talk to the people, Ray, please.
Yes, sir. Well, Canopy is the insurance data intake platform. Send a link out to your prospect. They, click on it, find their insurance carrier. We got like 350 insurance carriers on there. Click that, sign in, and they can be done there. You can ask them a few more questions you want, but we're going to pull all that insurance information, give it to you right in a nice dashboard.
That sounds pretty quick. What are we talking? 2 or 3 minutes?
Less. You can do that in 30 seconds, man.
Wow. Nick, you're a big time marketing guy. What do you think?
You know, I think Canopy Connect is one of those tools that everybody should have in their back pocket. Makes it easy to use. You can send it out in emails and text messages. You can use it in social media campaigns, X-Date campaigns. All of those methods will work with Canopy Connect.
Guys, I got to get back to the podcast, but you heard it right here. Use Canopy Connect. Go digital. Leave old school in the past. Nick and Ray, I'll catch you guys later. Easy.
Let's go. See ya.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a very common story. So there's another thing that people did with cards. They would tape them onto their bicycle frame.
Yes.
When the wheel went around, it would snap that card. So yeah, there's lots of stories about, famous baseball cards and players that were destroyed in our childhood that way.
It looked good and sounded cool, but it hurt the resale value pretty bad. Hey, Steve, you mentioned the family and the kids. You've got your beautiful wife there, Janet. You mentioned being in Maine for 25 years. What's it like working together as a couple?
It's fun. It's great.
This is not for everybody. And it is good for us because we have the flexibility to be with our kids or to take time and go see our kids in high school events or sporting or whatever is going on in our lives. But it does come with challenges because it's not the same as having a whole team of people that you don't have to go home and have supper with. So it can be a little delicate some days, but over the years, I think we've gotten pretty good at getting past the speed bumps that we occasionally run into almost weekly.
You guys are pretty good if they only happen weekly. Let's shout the kids out before we go back to business. They're going to watch this podcast. They're going to hear it. They're going to want to know that mom and dad said their name.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we actually have 3 kids. We have Steve's daughter, Sarah. She lives in Berlin, Germany. Nice. And we have our oldest, Aaron. He recently graduated from University of Maine with a degree in computer science, if anybody's hiring for coders. And my daughter, Jillian, is graduating this weekend with a degree in exercise science.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so glad we took the time to acknowledge the kids. Hey, Sarah, over in Berlin. Thank you for all that you're doing over there. Look at the connectivity. While in the Army, you brought down the Berlin Wall and you made it possible for your daughter to live there. Congratulations, Aaron, the recent graduate, and congratulations in advance to Jillian graduating this weekend. We wish them all nothing but the very, very best. That's what it's all about. So, Steve, when you're talking about what you love about being an agent, you said something that resonates with me, and I think it will resonate with many others as well. The joy of putting someone's life back together when they have a policy with us, they've made the decision to buy the right coverages that you recommend, and then we're in the business where things fall apart. When you think about that part of putting someone's life back together, is there a claim story or two that pops to mind where really you felt good because someone had the right coverage and they were able to recover from a pretty bad disaster?
There's been a lot of them, to be honest with you, Kevin. There's some that we have where, unfortunately, we have some bad car accidents up here, and like everywhere else. But sometimes they're storm related, like a snowstorm and stuff. So when you talk to people about proper coverages, and we're kind of spin over to the automobile world, you want to make sure that you dig into the household and get everybody on the policy that is supposed to be on those policies.
Yes.
Some people forget to put their kids on there. And if you don't remember to get the buy-in to put the kids on there, there could be an accident where it's not covered.
Right.
So we've had a couple of times where we've gone through these discussions in the last year because we do customer protection reviews as part of our daily thing here in the office. And we constantly ask about this. So we had one happen like that. And then I think it was just a couple of weeks later, the young child was involved in an accident on the highway right next to our agency. And fortunately, he was on that policy. So
Thank
we
God.
know that it's going to be covered. But there's some times where that does not happen. Another one would be fires, catastrophic fires. We had a client years ago when I first started doing the insurance that had a fire in a unattached garage. So this is where I learned to really make sure that we dug really, really deep, because he had stored a lot of tools, flooring materials, and so forth, because he was a flooring installer.
Yeah.
Just stored in there, allegedly. But that burnt right to the ground. And we did end up getting a substantial payout for that, but we had to work with claims and we had to, justify the cases and everything. And that one really felt good, because we did put it back together. We got everything right going forward, and we learned from that situation. So, and he's still a client here, by the way.
Well, that's definitely a hero's ending. So I like both stories. I love the story of the driver being listed on the policy and that claim was covered. I posted a video the other day here on Long Island where I live. The local newspaper led with that there are 50,000 unlicensed drivers living on Long Island, and they're causing a lot of accidents and fatalities. So when you have that situation, you have someone that's not covered. But in your case, because of the due diligence done in your agency and listing everyone, you're able to do the right thing. And then the fire story, you got my attention with that one, right? Because whether it's a detached garage or a shed, we all put stuff in there, right? Stuff. And it accumulates, you don't know, you don't remember having the money to buy it, but all of a sudden one day, and I think this happens to everyone, we just have a lot of stuff. It was like, okay, when did we get a windfall? When did we go shopping for everything? Because I don't remember. I just know I have a lot of stuff now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it can accumulate pretty fast, and people don't realize the value of the possessions that they have, or the stuff that they have, all tucked away in different corners.
Yeah, and that's the challenge of the job of figuring out the stuff. We talked about collectibles. In this case, it's tools. Tools are very, very expensive to replace, but we hold on because that right tool may help him do a job. So, Steve, let's talk about Maine a little bit. Talk to me about the landscape of Maine. So when I'm thinking of Maine, I've got this picture in my mind. It's probably a limited, myopic view. I just remember one episode of Bar Rescue with John Taffner, where someone had an opportunity to open up a great bar right on the water, right on the coast. And he just had to give them some advice to really lure the people in and take good care of them. So that's my fixed view of Maine. I imagine being near the water, being able to reach in the water, pull some lobster. But behind me, I've got this scenic mountainous view in my mind. So what's wrong with that picture that I painted? What am I missing?
That's only one small little piece. So we have the coastal area, which is absolutely beautiful, but also really cold. The water is not like Cancun or down in your Gulf of America or whatever we're calling everything now. Yeah. It's really cold. So that one small piece, it's really nice in the summertime. But the rest of Maine is all woods and mountains, which people don't really understand or know about. Mount Katahdin is the highest mountain in Maine and the first mountain to see the sunrise every year or every day. So and that's in Baxter State Park. So that's a really nice park right there. You even have ice caves where if you get up and walk in, you can get down in the caves and there's ice in there. So nice. A natural freezer or preserving food or whatever, it exists up here. Mm-hmm. So some of the other things that we have is, I'm trying to think, Mount Desert Island.
Okay.
So you get over there, there's some parks there that are just phenomenal.
That's Acadia State Park.
Yep.
Nice.
So Acadia was put together by the Rockefellers and the Pews.
Okay.
So there was two families involved. Though, of course, everybody knows the Rockefeller name.
Yes.
The Pew, P-E-W, is another name that was involved with that. And Acadia is just phenomenal. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
So nice big granite mountain kind of rocks and stuff where you can drive up most of the way and then walk the rest of it. And you can see literally for 50 miles.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What
And
kind of
that's
heights?
yeah, and that's looking out over the the ocean. You can see all the islands and the lands, and so
Cruise ships
it's
that
nice.
come into Bar Harbor, you can see them.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. And then you mentioned fishing in Canada, so you're not far from the Canadian border at all.
Right.
Not at all. I grew up a half mile from Canada, in the
Nice.
northern part of Maine.
Yeah.
Nice. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You have to love it. What weather does that bring with the cold air, the high mountains? What weather does that bring? And more specifically, how does that weather impact us from an insurance standpoint?
Well, the positive part is we do not see many hurricanes, and we do not see many tornadoes.
Good.
So we don't have to worry about that part quite so much. But in the wintertime, especially in January, you can get some pretty frigid temperatures, way down below zero. So the challenge in this part of the country would be like warmth for the homes and so forth. So if it gets too cold and we lose power, which does happen now because of the storms, it can get pretty cold inside your house. And then what you have is ruptured heating pipes.
Yeah.
The copper pipes will actually burst. And so when the heat comes back on, then it floods the houses if you're not really on top of it. That's challenging sometimes because a lot of folks up here in Maine like to go to Florida in the wintertime also.
Yeah.
So that's a common claim. That's a tough one to deal with sometimes. A lot of times it's okay. But it's challenging, especially with the home insurance on that regard.
I can only imagine. I'm writing notes while you're talking. I wrote below zero. You got to the frozen pipes, and I'm thinking of those secondary homes. We have that here in New York as well. We want to make sure that temperature in the house was around 70 before they left. That makes all the difference in the world. That's really combative and can prevent some claims. But when they don't, oh my God, the damage can be pretty bad.
Yeah, it can be. So the other thing, if you're talking about weather specific, we live up here in the beautiful state of Maine for, our freedom to be out in the country and everything else. And that's for about 2 months of the year of good weather.
So what are we talking? July, August, summer? That's about
Pretty
it.
much.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
that's summertime, and if you don't have to have summer all the way around the year, then it's fantastic. You get 4 seasons and stuff, but in the future, maybe we'll look for a warmer climate.
I got it. Well, I think people listen to podcasts, they're looking for your colder climate. People these days, and I would say the last 5 years, they're looking for more space instead of less space. Less in the city. Did you guys have a lot of people move up to Maine in the last 5 years since the pandemic, looking for a little space to stretch out?
Yes. Yeah, we have actually. It's a substantial uptick of people that are coming into Maine from other states. They're coming in more than they are leaving at this point. So, good or bad, it's happening. Those of us that live up here don't like to have it too crowded, but it's good for business.
That is a good thing. Nothing like new movers. Well, let's talk about the business and the staffing part of our agencies. One question I've asked, I think every agent I've had on the podcast. First, how hard is it for a new person, no experience, to get their license and join the insurance business in Maine?
Okay. Well, I'll take that back to my experience then. When I was leaving the corporate world of Home Depot and transitioning over to an Allstate agency owner, I did study for my licenses while I was still working. And it is a little challenging sometimes because there's a lot of material for insurance. It's not for the faint of heart. But my number one suggestion is Kaplan Financial. I love that program right there. That got me through with all of my training. And
Okay.
I think I had to take my PNC test twice. So it's
Okay.
not easy.
Okay.
But
No.
yeah, you get your Kaplan Financial studying in, and then you register to take your state exam. And as long as you hit 70% or higher, then you pass. You get your license.
70 is fine. No pressure. That just means you study too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that being said, with everything happening up there, are we looking to grow the agency with insurance? And with the state of Maine growing, is it a good time for people listening to this podcast? Maybe they're between opportunities. Would you recommend someone going through Capital Financial to get their license?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Up here, it's an opportunity up here, and the agents that are here, the 7 that are left, there's only a couple of them that are younger. The rest of them look pretty much like me with gray hair, and
I love it.
They're getting ready to retire, I'm sure, but there is a lot of opportunity up here for anybody that would want to jump into the insurance world. Whether they want to buy an existing agency, because I know there's like 3 or 4 people that want to retire in the next few years, but even from the ground up, once you get that license and everything, if you have mentors or someone that you can ask questions for, by all means, jump right into it.
Absolutely makes a massive difference. Steve, outside of the agency, talk about some of the things you're involved in the community.
Involved in the community. Well, we usually raise money for Toys for Tots. So we've done that for many, many, many years.
Yes.
And we have a location right here that we can have people dropping off toys and so forth. So we've enjoyed that one immensely over the years. We also raise money for the Asperger's Foundation or Society.
Autism, yeah.
Autism.
Thank God.
Yep. So there's a couple of things. And other than that, I do a lot with just myself and my kids. But in the past, I've even been a town councilor with one of the local towns here. And I served on that board for 6 years until it just got to a point where my business was so busy that I just could not afford to put that kind of time into it. I'm one of those folks that thinks that kind of position deserves the time commitment. Couldn't do it justice at the time.
You and me both. I've been there, been involved, I've been extended, I've been overextended, and I've dialed back. So today, as I speak, I'm in the dial back phase. There in heart, sometimes we get to stroke a check, but the time piece is the piece that you can't get back.
Yeah.
So, Steve, you and Janet have painted a wonderful picture of Maine for us today, what it's like to live and work in Maine. You showed us the wildlife, the top of the mountain where the sun rises early. How do you wind down at the end of the day in Maine?
I head right back to my home. Like I said, it's in a rural area just outside of town. I really enjoy golfing. I enjoy landscaping. I have at least 1 acre of grass that I mow. So the gardening and the landscaping are really therapeutic for me. So I do a lot of walking with our dogs. We have a couple of dogs, which I immensely enjoy having around. And I spend a lot of time with my kids and my wife. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that Janet has got us into this year, which I am finding quite pleasurable, basically, is you get out on the beach and we start looking for shells. Mm-hmm. So when I disappear in Cancun, that's where we are.
It's me.
That's your deal, Janet, huh? That's where you're at. You're getting the shells?
Yes. Well, I grew up on the coast in New Brunswick in Canada. So literally I'd stand in my front yard and I could see the ocean. So when you're a kid and there's nothing to do, you could just go down and look in the tide pools, collect shells. And every coastline is different. So we started collecting, well, started collecting seashells here in Maine. And I was like, I didn't even know we had these kinds of shells here, but let's go get some.
Yes, yes, yes.
So,
that is a great thing to do.
I follow the tides and I make sure that we're out there before those tractors go out picking up the seaweed.
You got to do it. And we've seen some fun wildlife in Cancun. The part that I remember the most is the spider monkey that was they're hanging out with us a little bit. So we definitely had a good time.
Yeah.
That spider monkey was unique. He was the one climbing up my shoulder and picking at my hair there.
He was welcome at the party. We had a good time. He had a good time.
Yes, everybody did.
I always like to close these and give my guests a chance to say any encouraging words. Anything that you're working on that you wanted to share that I didn't ask about, and that goes for both of you. So, Janet, I don't know if you want to share anything that's guys working on as an agency or a family, and followed by Steve.
Well, in the agency, what we're working on, we're kind of, we're not old, but social media is kind of not our thing, but we're trying to get better at it and post a few videos, and with the help of Casey Cookert. So we're trying to get better at that. It's a little difficult, but I think everybody should try to get into it because that's the way everything's going.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
And she's better at it than she lets on. So my number one thing that I'm looking at is probably lead sources and the cost of marketing. As everybody's seen in the last year or two, it's up and down and all over the place. So I'm looking in-house on ways to get free leads. We go after requotes and win backs quite substantially now. And that has helped reduce the marketing expense that we needed to reduce and still produce at the same level that we have been all along. Not for the faint of heart, but it's there. You just keep the emotions out of it and crunch the numbers.
You got to leave the
the most important thing, though, you have to kind of create yourself a happy medium, a balance, because you do have to spend time with your family because they're the most important.
I agree. I couldn't have said it better. So big shout out, Jan. Thank you for mentioning Casey Cookert. She's awesome in the social media space and the digital space, the free leads. We can talk offline. I'll tell you some stuff. You guys have a unique opportunity to dominate your area, combining that social with being in front of people in Maine. So it is a wonderful thing. It's an amazing time to be alive. It's an amazing time to be in business and to play with a few of these things, right? Not go crazy, but it's like Atlantic City or any other, your favorite casino, play with a little bit. Put a 20 on the table that you don't mind losing. If it works, you'll put another 20 down. If it doesn't, take your money and walk away. Okay. Yeah. But you guys have been fabulous. I think you've helped us paint a wonderful picture of Maine, a wonderful picture of the insurance business. Before I wrap, any closing thoughts at all?
Come visit.
Yeah, that's a good one. Come visit. And until we do see you up here, have a great time selling insurance and doing these podcasts because they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you both. And thank you everybody for tuning in today, joining us for another episode of Wine Down with Kev. Big thank you to our sponsors, Carol Media, Everything Social Media, Canopy Connect, Everything Digital, and Wintrust Financial Bank. But most importantly, please join me in thanking our wonderful guests from the amazing state of Maine. Put your hands together. Say something nice in the comments for Steve and Janet Wilde.